Evening, I'd like to call this meeting May 3rd, 2022 to order at 7 p.m. We'll stay seated for a moment of silent reflection. Gathered this evening, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of council and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We would like to thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history. And we're extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of people who've taken care of this land for thousands of years. We'll move to the mayor's address. During the month of April, I attended 12 meetings for county and municipal business. On April 22nd, 2022, at the Shawwoods Education Center board meeting, the Ontario Trillium Community Building Grant of $48,300 was announced. This grant will assist in the development of online learning tools and an education outreach program to enable a virtual experience fostering responsible stewardship. This was welcome news for the Education Center as the pandemic caused the cancellation of the majority of school visits. On Monday, April 25th, 2022, Renfrew County paramedics conducted a search and rescue certification training at the Shawwoods Education Center. This certification of Renfrew County paramedics will be the first in the province of Ontario. Tuesday, May 10th, 2022 is the Provincial Day of Action on Litter, promoting public participation. Algona Wilberforce is promoting our Green Stewardship program, which will once again be starting on May 10th, 2022. In the spring edition of the Eastern Ontario Business Journal, one of the articles focuses on the housing and labor shortage in Eastern Ontario and the challenges faced for employers identifying, attracting, and retaining talent. Alistair Baird, the Economic Development Manager for the County of Renfrew, indicates that currently in Renfrew County, there are 500 jobs that have simply gone unfilled. In addition, normally in Renfrew County, there would be 1,100 houses listed for sale, and currently there are 100. These are two significant challenges facing economic growth, recruiting workers and finding housing. In Renfrew County, the average price of homes sold in December was 36.8% over the previous year. For the foreseeable future in Renfrew County, we'll need a continuous build to meet the demand, creating more jobs in the construction industry. That is my mayor's address. So I have a motion that the May 3rd, 2022 mayor's address be accepted as presented. Moved by Councillor Reichel-Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Bert? Yes. Councillor Buchwald? You're muted, Doug.
There's nothing else.
No.
I hear us.
Can you hear us? Okay. Councillor Robinson? Yes. Councillor Reichel-Schoenfeld?
Yes.
I'm a yes, that's Gary. I'm taking his head nod as a yes.
Yes, I have changed.
Councillor Buchwald, you wanted to speak? Okay.
Interesting. Mine does not have my freezer.
Any declarations of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none, and then we'll move on to item 5, which is the adoption of the minutes. I have a motion that the April 26, 2022 regular minutes be accepted as presented. So I got to move over to seconder, moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Any additions, corrections, or omissions? Seeing none, Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald, Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Ivey Schoenfeld,
Yes.
and a yes, it's carried. Thank you. Recommendations, so we'll move on to item 7, which is succession planning, and I have a motion that the CAO's letter dated May 3rd, 2022 be accepted as presented. Do we want to review that letter?
Oh, through the mayor, basically, it's more of a speaking notes as opposed to a letter, but, yes, I would like to actually read it to council.
Okay.
So, on January 22nd, 2018, I assumed the position of Chief Administrative Officer / Operations Manager. I was the 4th person in 4 years to assume the leadership of the corporation. The council at the time was divided and not even functioning remotely as a team. Township was constantly portrayed negatively in the press and was suffering under expensive ongoing legal costs. Staff morale was low and absenteeism was high. Although it was very difficult to manage council and try to be productive, we did make it to the end of the term. The majority of council came together and advanced the business of council and community support of grant funding. Council did take the bold step to start the rehabilitation of that cemetery road. Although the municipal election in 2018 appeared to be without any major snags, there was a challenge of the results by one candidate that questioned the outcome. The outgoing council ordered a recount. The result came for 2 candidates, and a newly elected councillor was removed from the seat. There was a legal challenge in several courtroom proceedings, but in the end, the recount results were deemed official. This started off very productive under the direction of the mayor as the leader of council. There were still some high legal costs in the first year, court proceedings and some residual from the former term. Legal costs have been significantly lessened in subsequent years. The present council in its last year has much to be proud of and is in a very favorable position for the future. That cemetery road has been completed. Grist Mill, Island View, Royal Pine, Black Creek, and others have all been finished. 2022 is looking good with projects on Crooked Rapids, Black Point, and Burnt Road all approved with the 10th. Township has significantly improved its public works and fire department fleets with several additions over the past few years and more new units to be delivered in 2022. 4 years ago, there was no bylaw enforcement and the building inspection program was contracted to another municipality. Today, both bylaw and buildings are managed in-house with our team council staff. Fire department over the past 4 years has addressed all the concerns, all 18 of the concerns that were identified by the Ontario Fire Marshal, and under the leadership of the chief have increased membership. They completed a major overhaul of the Golden Lake Fire Hall, including an additional training room in the community center. The fire department, with the support of council, has undertaken a new endeavor to provide extrication and that comes with training and new equipment. In this term of council, there have been many grants for modernization, community infrastructure, recreation, and more. 2022 has started out very good with the help of our new special programs coordinator, and this will continue. The preceding paragraph sounds like an election speech. It is not. It is a legacy created through the years of my service and a reminder to council how much has changed over the past 4 years and 4 months. I am leaving the township, and I am leaving it a better place. It was a team effort, not just the CAO, but council and our terrific staff. Over the past years, we have established a sustainable team with a progressive succession plan that has progressively blossomed into fruition over the past 4 years. It has always been my plan to work myself out of a job, and ultimately that is the measure of my success. With the support of this council, we have progressed to a place where competent staff are in place not only to carry on, but to evolve to meet future challenges. As CAO, I take no credit for the successes of the township. The succession and sustainability plan belong to council. You are it, and you should take credit for ensuring that the township is prepared for the future. Council, you can reflect on the steps and the actions required to get to this place. You should believe this to be your greatest success, as your staff are the instruments of all council's achievements. Without your staff, there would be no success. Over the past year, I have been slowly withdrawing from my duties and allowing the team to adjust. It has now come to the time where last week I worked my last scheduled day. This week I am only here for this meeting. For the next month, I'm using up my vacation time and only come to meeting. As of June 9th, I will be completely finished, exactly 33 years from the first day in municipal service. My municipal career has spanned over 3 decades, 6 municipalities, and 17 different job titles. It is time for a rest. I'm going to keep involved with municipalities as a private consultant, and I'm going to dedicate a lot of time to wellness and healthy endeavors. The township is in good hands. Michelle and her staff will move the community forward under the guidance of the strategic thinking council that values the great human asset they provide.
Thank you, Andrew. 33 years is enough time, and certainly a lot of years spent working in municipal government. So I think you deserve a change and you deserve a bit of a rest. And I certainly do appreciate the time and effort you put in with our council. I know it was a challenge when you first arrived, and we have come a long way. And I do agree that the success that we've achieved has been almost all due to the support that we get from staff. And it's so important to have that support going forward. So I want to say thank you, and I'll turn it over to the councillors and see if they have anything they would like to add. Buckle?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Through the mayor, I'd just like to say that Andrew is being very quiet about himself and not saying that he was a big part of this. He certainly was. As good as this team that he has put together is, and as much as the support that we as a council have tried to give them and the opportunities, every team needs a coach. And I think Andrew was a very good coach, not only for building this team, but for putting it in a position where it can be successful after he moves on, which is what coaching is all about. So I just like to say thank you, Andrew, for your service here, and all the best in your future.
Thank you, Councillor Buckle. Councillor Robinson.
I would also like to echo some of those sentiments. I think that the comments were understated. You have been great value. I mean, myself as a new councillor coming into it, guided us through some of the, for lack of a better word, potholes. Just help us to think like councillors, to address some of the issues that were in front of us, and to deal with them in an effective manner. I think I can't say enough gratitude for the guidance that you have given us, the knowledge that you've shared. The 30 years is a long time, and you brought all of that to the table when helping us through the situation that we were going through at different points in time. Thank you for that concept and for this time.
I would have to say, like through Andrew's guidance, we've seen many positive changes to Algona Wilberforce. So under your tenure, you've definitely put your own footprint on our council and our township. So thank you for years of service here, and best of luck in the future.
Councillor Burns.
I agree with all the councils, and the first year that you came here, the township wasn't really like it. It needed somebody to get us up and running. Because we have three other guys here, three other people here before you, and we're today. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Oh, I'm not finished yet. So what I did want for this council, and you did get it today, and Michelle can put it up, is the final result of the things that we've been working with council in our succession plan where we are. I put it together in an org chart. We've all talked about it before, but when you get to see it in the big picture. Congratulations, Andrew, for your team winning the stand.
That was the first game.
So we talked and we worked on a succession plan and council discussed where we are in succession. So this is the org chart of what we presently have. So you can see where you are as council, and we've given Michelle the title of township manager. She's still clerk / treasurer, or treasurer / clerk. We have our administrative assistant. The dotted lines go over to the special projects coordinator and the certified engineer and technologist that we talked about. Those positions are not permanent positions, and they're only there if council wants them to be there. So certified tech we haven't hired, and you don't necessarily have to do it there. And the special project coordinator is still a temporary. We have a deputy clerk, and council brought forward deputy clerk and deputy treasurer in the end of last summer. And with the departure of our public works coordinator who left for other things, we've decided that the public works superintendent can pretty well handle the portfolio, but we may need some help from certified tech in there. The CAMC, we have fire chief, and there's a few positions under the fire chief. And from that, of course, we have our chief building inspector, our bylaw enforcement coordinator, and bylaw enforcement officer. So we did certify and train 3 other bylaw officers. It doesn't mean that they're positions that exist with people unless we need them. And the chief building official and the bylaw coordinator and the fire prevention officer are all the same person. So it's not like we have a bunch of extra people. In under public work, we have the usual seasonal complement that we normally have. We have 1 less on the operators. With our superintendent position, 1 person moves to be lead hand. So we have 1 less operator, but we do have a complement in fall. We have added a part-time janitorial position. We've taken out the contract, and the township is saving funds doing that. We to this point use summer staff to do the janitorial. We have the 4 transportation operators that have always been there. And again, of course, the fire department, and the full complement would be 30 firefighters. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have 30 at this time. So this org chart, as we've got it, as I said, it could evolve. As we evolve into a big municipality and you bring in lots of industry and lots of residential growth, and you move back to having a CAO again, then the deputy clerk and the deputy treasurer could evolve into treasurer and clerk. They're both working on upgrading qualifications. And within our team, we can keep progressing. The lead hand can progress to the superintendent. So you've got some ability to absorb a hit if something happens or something changes. Michelle, I may buy lottery tickets, and if she wins 60 million, you may disappear, but you're in good shape. I'm hoping that she will think of us when she does that. So this is what you have. It has taken 4 years to get here, but I feel very comfortable leading the township in this structure and with the progressive council that have the strategic thoughts in their head. And I keep pushing the word strategic to you. As a council, that's where you need always be, thinking ahead and thinking strategic. That's all I'm going to say for tonight. I know you don't want to do it anymore, but I do thank the township for the opportunity, and I certainly thank the staff and all the help they've given me, because when we do a council meeting, it's like doing a play. It's like doing a theater production. We practice the things on the agenda. We look at all the questions that you might ask, and you sometimes manage to ask questions we didn't think about, but there's a lot of work that goes into what we do just to bring this meeting to you. So, yeah, I'm getting back.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I mean, yes, we certainly won't have to, but at the same time, we know that you've done a great job coaching Michelle, and she has gotten much more comfortable in her new role. So we look forward to continuing to move our municipality forward with Michelle. I have a motion that the CAO's letter dated May 3rd, 2022 be accepted as presented. Moved by Councilor Rector-Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Burns. Councilor Buckwald, or Councilor Burns?
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Rector-Schoenfeld?
Yes.
I mean, yeah. Carried, thank you. Seven point two is the provincial day of action on litter. I have a motion that council accepts the provincial day of action on litter report as presented. By Councilor Robertson, seconded by Councilor Buckwald. Comments or questions? Seeing none. Councilor Burns?
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Rector-Schoenfeld?
Yes.
And a yes, that's carried. Thank you. 7.3 is the RFQ award for the addition to the Public Works Garage. I have a motion that council accepts the RFQ addition to Public Works Garage project at Golden Lake. The report is presented and accepts a quotation from Walsh Brothers Timber 216 Limited for the garage addition and in-floor heating. Amount of $77,904.46, including HST. For a seconder, moved by Councilor Rector-Schoenfeld, seconded by Councilor Burns. Comments or questions? Councilor Rector-Schoenfeld?
So I always like how they, like the last sentence in the background, the proposal supports the strategic plan by optimizing resources. I think it's really important that all our reports somehow get linked back to the strategic plan. And I'm just thinking maybe this is a suggestion, you know how we have bolded recommendations, bolded background, bolded alternatives, financial. I'm wondering if we could just have a bold category simply saying strategic plan, and then we could always relate it back to one of ours. And even in the last one, it would have been nice just to say environmental stewardship, because then it's showing the residents that we pay a lot for the strategic plan and really use it. And it's easy, it's like easy to find.
Andrew?
That would be a point of order. But I like the council comment, but I do want to call on the council that should come up as a separate thing, and it's a good thing, and I've done that with other municipalities, and as I keep saying, strategic, so. But the way that should come back, it should come up under new business for the next meeting, and council should endorse that. The clerk treasurer heard, project manager heard that, and she's going to bring it back as something for council to approve. It's a good thing, and what we'd like to see, but that's the way it should come through.
Dr. Burke?
We're not going with the indoor heating, we're just.
Well, that's up to council to decide whether we go with the indoor heating. Andrew, do you want to speak to that?
So I will comment on that. So, as part of my moving away, I wasn't involved in this at all. But in reviewing it today, the public works superintendent did put quite a contingency in there. Again, it still came up over price. The in-floor heating is something that would be really important to have. At the very least, you want to put the in-ground piping in for it. But the $77,000, if you allow the clerk treasurer to explain when you have our rebate on that, it comes out to $70,000.
Yeah, so, the total price is $77,904, including the HST. But when you take our HST rebate into consideration, the municipal price would be, a little over 70,000. So it'd be 70,100.
And there was 60,000 in the budget for that project.
We did budget 60,000 this year for the gold mitigation. Yes.
And we also put 200,000 into a special project. Was it a reserve?
So it was a capital asset repair assigned into 2022 road budget. So yes, we do still have funding under that budget.
One portion of the garage would have the in-floor heating. Yes.
So through the mayor, right now, the whole garage is heated. So this is the addition that have the in-floor too. So just carry on and you're going to get the most value of your indoor or your in-floor heat on your exterior walls. And your exterior wall that loses the most heat is the garage door. So if you're going to have in-floor heat, it's really advantageous to have it in that section, or at least have the piping in for it.
Currently, there is in-floor heat in the rest of the
Correct.
building. It also makes it very nice for our employees when they're working, especially if they have to work close to the floor. Awesome.
It says here optional indoor heating, how much would it cost for that?
So through the mayor, the treasurer can give that information.
So the quote alone for the in-floor heating is 6,500 plus HST.
And that's included in the overall price of 7.
It's already included.
It's all.
Yeah.
If you opted not to do it,
You would have that 6,000 something taken off that, so bring it down to 71. But right now, you're paying 71 basically and getting it all because you were rebating.
okay.
Paul, did you have a comment? I wasn't watching to see if you had your hand up.
Yeah, the comment I would make is I wouldn't want to see it go in without the heating, especially when it's going to be right at your entry doors. So you're going to wind up with cold coming in there, and as moisture comes off the trucks, it's not going to be evaporated as quickly there. So, yeah, I think for the sake of the $6,000 on the cost of the project, it's worthwhile including that so that the job is done right.
Any further comments? And then I'll call the vote. Councilor Burns?
Yeah.
Councilor Buchwald?
Yes.
Councilor Robinson?
Yes.
Councilor Reckley Schonfeld?
Yes.
And a yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 9.1 are the non-action items. I have a motion that correspondence items 9.1.1 to 9.1.5 be accepted as information. And then we're going to second, please. Moved by Councilor Burns, seconded by Councilor Robinson. Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Rakichenko.
Yes.
Yes, it's carried. Nine point two is the Eganville Leader Discover Renfrew County and Shop Local magazine. I have a motion that council directs staff to purchase the following advertising in Eganville Leader, Discover Renfrew County, Shop the Valley magazine. And there's three options. There's a full page at 595, a half page at 395, and a quarter page at 250. So, can I bring a seconder and maybe a suggestion for an option? Moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burns. That was on which option? Last year we did a full page, I believe.
So we did a full page and half page insert.
Their suggestions, half page. So it looks like it's a half page. I'll call the vote. Councilor Burns,
Yes.
Councilor Buckwald,
Yes.
Councilor Robinson,
Yes.
Councilor Rakichenko.
Yes.
And yes, that's carried. Thank you. Item 9.2.2 is the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia. I have a motion that reads, whereas the Quebec Charter of Human Rights and Freedoms recognizes that no one can be discriminated against on the basis of sexual orientation or gender identity or expression. And whereas Quebec is a society open to everyone, including lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans people, LGBTQ, and all other people who identify with sexual diversity and the multiplicity of gender identities and expressions. And whereas, despite recent efforts towards greater inclusion of LGBT people, homophobia and transphobia are still present in society. And whereas May 17th, the International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia is celebrated as such in many countries and is the result of the Quebec-based initiative promoted by Foundation Emergence starting in 2003. And whereas there is reason to support the efforts of Foundation Emergence in holding this day, now therefore be it resolved that North Algona Wilberforce Township proclaims May 17th International Day Against Homophobia and Transphobia. Seconded, moved by Councilor Robinson, seconded by Councilor Burns. Comments or questions? Councilor Rakichenko.
How will we be showing this to our residents that we are?
So we will recognize that date. We will include information on our electronic signs on that day.
Okay, and we'll put something on our website?
Definitely, yes.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
No, it's just recognizing it on the website, I think.
Councilor Buckwald.
The only comment I have on the resolution is actually in the whereas sections. We're a municipality on the Ontario, we're quoting the Quebec Charter. I'm assuming that's because the draft came from a Quebec-based organization. I'm just wondering if maybe we should make a friendly amendment to make that a little bit more provincial specific or township specific. If we're making a declaration for our township, I think that it's more appropriate that we refer to our township. So my recommendation, if it's open for a friendly amendment, would be to take the first sentence out and the second sentence change Quebec to North Algona Wilberforce.
I think it's more than a friendly amendment that.
So, Mayor, to change it and be a friendly amendment could recognize the Ontario. And because you were just, as Council Buckle said, you were looking at Quebec statement. You became it.
We would just be back to Ontario Charter of Human Rights.
I don't believe it's called charter off the top. I get that. Yes, we could put the Ontario word in there.
And in the second, whereas we would put Ontario as well.
Yes.
That work for you, Councillor Buckle?
Yeah, I think that would be more appropriate for our circumstance.
Councillor Aguilar.
Then we have to be very careful because near the end it says many countries and is the result of Quebec-based initiative promoting foundation. I don't know.
So the mayor, that statement would still ring true.
Yes.
I'll call the vote and the amendment, the friendly amendment is just removing Quebec Charter and replacing it with Ontario. And in the second, whereas changing Quebec to Ontario.
That would be changed to Ontario Human Rights.
Ontario Human Rights Court, okay. Councillor Burns? Yes. Councillor Buchwald?
Yes.
Councillor Robinson?
Yes.
Councillor Rector,
Sure, yes.
and a yes. Carried, thank you. Are there any matters of urgency? Any notice of motions?
So Councilor Rigby, John Phelps, thing on the statement on the what we're going to add, that would be a notice of motion, so that would come up at the next meeting.
Okay. Reports for committees. So upcoming meetings and unfinished business. We have a special meeting of council on May the 12th, 2022 at 7 p.m. And our next regular meeting of council is May 1st. Sorry, that shouldn't be May 1st. It should be May 17th, 2022 at 7 p.m. We have a closed session. We have no closed, so we will move to item 17, which is our confirmatory bylaw. I have a motion that bylaw 2022-28 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council for May 3rd, 2022. Be read a first and second time this third day of May 2022. I got to move in a seconder, moved by Councillor Burns, seconded by Councillor Becky Schoenfeld. Is read a third time and finally passed the third day of May 2022. Councillor Burns.
Yes.
Councillor Buchwald.
Yes.
Councillor Robinson.
Yes.
Councillor Becky Schoenfeld.
Yes.
Yes, that's carried. Thank you. And item number 18 is adjournments. I have a motion to the council meeting adjourned at 7:39 p.m. Moved by Councillor Becky Schoenfeld, seconded by Councillor Robinson. Councillor Birch, yes. Councillor Buckhold,
Yes.
Councillor Robinson,
Yes.
Councillor Right,
Yes.
and a yes, carried, thank you.